Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my picks for fragrances that are fantastic for transitioning from one season to the next. And I think I'm going to be doing more of these videos as we transition from one season to another season, and also sharing with you what fragrances I think fit that specific season. So since we're moving from winter into spring, I thought it would be appropriate to share with you guys my fragrances that I think make fantastic that are fantastic picks from transitioning from your winter fragrance wardrobe into your spring fragrance wardrobe. So a lot of these fragrances have beautiful aspects that a lot of people look for, me specifically in both seasons. And I think that they wear beautifully both times, and I think that they are perfect for the in-between. So if you'd like to know what I pick, then keep watching. From my collection, but I have 3 also that are not in my collection that I will touch on after I share with you guys the ones that are in my collection. Because I don't have bottles, and I tend to like to hold the bottles when I talk about it and be very infomercially, but you know, that's what I do. So the first one I want to talk about is something that I just been absolutely adoring, and this is from Serge Lutens Fleurs de Orange. Now this is an orange blossom fragrance, which to me brings it very spring, very when it's warm and sunny out, maybe still a little bit cool. What I like about this is it's a little bit heavier and more syrupy. And the dry down on this, I definitely get a lot of spice. Specifically, I pick up cumin, and I think that the spiciness and the heavy sweetness of this is what kind of ties this to me is to more of a springtime fragrance, but also perfect for winter as well. So I think this is a beautiful fragrance that not a lot of people will have if you're looking for something to take you from winter into spring. And I really love this for that. Now I get great longevity with this, great sillage with this, and generally overall I really like it. But the opening is completely different than the dry down, so do keep that in mind if you purchase this bottle. It starts off again very syrupy, very bright with the orange blossom, and when it dries down it loses its brightness. It still stays kind of heavy in the sweetness, and then you get the cumin notes. But this is why, again, I think this would be a perfect transitional fragrance. It's a new one to my collection, but I had sampled this heavily for a few months. Which is why I feel confident in recommending it, and also why I have a big bottle of it, because I know that I love it. And it's from Estee Lauder, and it's Modern Muse Le Rouge. There we go. This one, let me read you the notes and I'll tell you why this one is such a good recommendation, at least that I think, for your winter into spring. The top notes to this are black currant, raspberry, and pink pepper. The heart notes are saffron, rose, magnolia, and jasmine, and the base notes are vanilla, ambret, vetiver, and patchouli. Now when I think of winter fragrances, I think of things that are very warm and heavy, and when I think of springtime fragrances, I think of things that are sometimes a little bit more fruity, a little bit more sweet, and also a little bit brighter and lighter. I think this is the perfect juxtaposition of a really kind of like almost gourmand fragrance that's heavy and sweet and syrupy while still being light and very effervescent. This is on a stick so I can better describe this to you guys, since I haven't like talked about this before. I don't know if you guys have watched my channel. I talk about a lot of the same fragrances over and over, so sometimes I just quickly reference them, but since this is a new one to my collection and I haven't done a review on it yet, I kind of sprayed a stick just so I could tell you. The thing with this fragrance is it starts off opening extremely fruity, but it's still very bright. It's kind of fruit salad, but I really like that for that, specifically because I really pick up the black currant in this and I really love it. What really makes me think that this is a perfect transition from winter into spring is the fact that it's still a very warm fragrance. It's very light and effervescent and fruity and airy, ultra feminine by the way. But the vetiver, it's the vetiver, right? Yeah, the vetiver, the patchouli, and the vanilla really kind of like take this to something a little bit more warm, a little bit more wintry in my opinion. I know vetiver, you're thinking, what? But mixed with the patchouli and the amber and everything else, it kind of grounds this a little bit more and makes it a little bit of a heavier, more substantial fragrance, which is why I think this is a great transition for winter into spring. This is one you will see constantly on my channel because it's probably one of my all-time favorite scents just in general, and it's Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. Now you might be thinking, Neroli Portofino, it's lemon, it's bergamot, it's neroli. It's a citrus. It's a bright citrus. Didn't you talk about it in your Brightest Fragrance video? Yes, I did. But thing with this fragrance is that because it is kind of like a little bit on the heavier side, it's not a dry citrus, it's kind of more of a syrupy sweet citrus. While not being like a candy-like sweetness, it's a very genuine sweetness that you might expect to find out of a citrus fruit. A little bit juicy, but still very bright and effervescent. The thing is because of that sweetness, it kind of gives it a little bit of a heavier tone, which I think would be really fantastic when the weather just starts turning from cold to hot, or whatever your spring weather is. I think this would be a beautiful transitional fragrance, and it would be really appropriate. It's going to be very uplifting, very energizing, and at the same time, if it is cool, it's not going to feel out of place, which is something that I really like about this. This would be a fragrance I would recommend having a transition and then having it stay in your wardrobe throughout spring and summer. But I do think this would be a beautiful transitional fragrance if you guys are looking for something a little bit on the brighter side. And I like it a lot, and I've been wearing this one so much. And we are experiencing transitional weather here now, so it is going from 80 degrees to 90 degrees. So this is perfect for cool weather to warm weather. This one is a fragrance that I don't see too many people talking about, and it gets mixed reviews because people don't quite separate it from its like big sister. And it's Shalimar Souffle de Parfum. Now this fragrance, ignore Shalimar. Ignore it. Push it out of your mind, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a beautiful fragrance. I absolutely love this fragrance. And the reason why I think this is a perfect transitional fragrance, because this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about beautiful aspects of winter fragrances and springtime fragrances mixed together in a fantastic fragrance that's pretty easy to wear. The top notes of this are bergamot, lemon, and mandarin. The base notes, or the heart notes, or the middle notes, are jasmine, orange blossom, and water absolute. The base notes are vanilla and white musk. What warms this up and really makes this a beautiful winter to spring fragrance is definitely the vanilla and the jasmine. And what makes this a beautiful like springtime fragrance, or opening up your springtime fragrance. When I say opening up, I mean it's kind of like opening your wardrobe and choosing what you're going to be wearing for spring. This is really going to get you in the mood for springtime fragrances because of the beautiful citruses and the water absolute and the orange blossom. I think this is a fantastic fragrance. To me, it doesn't get enough love because I really love this fragrance, but most of the time people compare this to Shalimar, and I understand. Look at the bottle, read the name. But I think that if Guerlain had just released this as a separate fragrance, not related to Shalimar, it would have gotten a lot more attention and praise because it's a really beautiful fragrance. So when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about like Shalimar, like, hey, it's like Shalimar, but it's a little bit different. Completely different, at least in my opinion. The only thing slightly resembles it is the slight warmth and syrupiness that you get from the vanilla, but again, that's just the vanilla. But I do think this is a fantastic transitional fragrance because of the beautiful warm gourmand-esque notes to it, and also its beautiful bright notes from the citrus and the florals. I think does it a little bit more effortlessly and a little bit more elegantly and more sophisticated. To me, Souffle de Parfum from Guerlain is way more of like a daytime, easy to wear office scent. It's beautiful and I love it. But this one to me has more of a sophistication and is a little bit more special, and I think a lot of people would probably gravitate towards this one more than the other ones. And it's Ciel Woman from Amouage. So let me read you the notes. I've talked about this one a few times. I've just started wearing this again. I kind of put it off for a month or two, and I've just started wearing this one again. But the top notes of this are gardenia, cyclamen, and violet leaf. The heart notes are peach, water lily, rose, and jasmine, and the base notes are amber musk, cedarwood, sandalwood, and frankincense. Now, what anchors this into a winter fragrance is the sandalwood, the frankincense, and the amber, and to me, what anchors this as a springtime fragrance is the peach, the water lily, the jasmine, and the violet leaf. What kind of marries all these fragrances together, all these notes together to make this a beautiful transitional fragrance would be the gardenia, would be the rose, and would be the musk. I have to keep looking at the notes because I will say the wrong notes because there's always like 50,000 notes in my head, and I will call gardenia oak moss, I'll call vanilla amber, I'll call rose jasmine, so I always like to look at the notes to make sure I'm saying the right things. But this is such a beautiful, elegant, sophisticated fragrance that is perfect for the daytime or for the evening, although I do think this is a little bit more appropriate for daytime. It's very mature but not matronly, and it wears really light on the skin, but it still is very substantial. What I love most about Amouage's fragrances is there's always a lot of depth and complexity to it, while still feeling very effortless at the same time, and Ciel Woman is no exception. I think this is a beautiful idea if you're looking for something sophisticated and elegant to wear from winter into spring. It's going to be appropriate for the daytime and appropriate for the evening, although I do think this is more of a daytime fragrance. While at the same time, you're not going to lose anything. You're not giving up any of the beauty of winter fragrances for the beauty of springtime fragrances. You get the best of both worlds with this, which is why I really, really like it. Other fragrances I think are fantastic transitional fragrances from winter into spring because they're bright, but there's still just something really sultry and deep about them, or that they're just really beautiful fragrances that you can wear whenever. Last of the fragrances I think that I don't have in my collection yet, that I think would be fantastic fragrances for transitioning from winter into spring is Donna from Valentino. I love how that smells. There's like a deep iciness to this, but there's also a brightness and fruitiness to it, which I think is really nice. Cafe Rose from Tom Ford is a fast favorite. I think that's just one of those fragrances which is pretty universal year-round, but I think it specifically fits winter to spring just because you're getting into the coolness of the coolness of the weather, and the brightness of spring is mixed perfectly in that fragrance, and it's not too sweet, and it's just a fantastically beautiful fragrance. And the other one is from Armani Prive, and I'm gonna butcher the name, but I think it's called Pivoine Suzhou. It's a beautiful fragrance that I think is another beautiful winter to spring fragrance. I'm going to write all the names down, so obviously if I am completely mispronouncing them and you want to check them out, you can at least read the correct names and check them out below. So those are the recommendations that I don't have in my collection yet. I'm definitely getting those 3 sometime in the future because I absolutely love them, and I think that those are fantastic fragrances to also take you from winter into spring. This video is a little bit more jumbled than normal, and you'll have to forgive me for that. I wasn't quite as eloquent as I normally am, and I'm already not that eloquent, but it was kind of hard for me to completely be able to describe what I was talking about because I kept saying like winter, fall, and I had to re-record this video like 6 times because I was saying the wrong seasons, and I just got to the point where I forgot what I said, and so like I don't know, it's crazy, I'm sorry. But I did want to bring this video to you because it is getting to that time where we are transitioning, and it's getting to that time where I don't know if some people, not everyone does this, well some people have their winter rotation, some people have their spring rotation. Some people have their monthly rotation, and I think like this video is going to be for those people that have their specific rotations. I myself have I don't have anything in rotation, like I don't take anything aside separately, but there are specific fragrances that I like to wear specific times of the year, and they kind of come to the front of the cabinet, so it's as close to rotation as I get, and those are the ones that I normally reach for. These are the ones that have been front and center and I've been grabbing for and have been loving. So these are the ones that I wanted to share with you guys. Also the ones that I don't have in my collection currently that I mentioned at the end of this video are ones that I'm specifically planning on purchasing because I love the way that they smell, I love the way that they perform, and there's something special, but also there's an ease with those fragrances as well. So that's why I wanted to share these fragrances with you. To me, winter fragrances are very warm, they're very like heavy, and they make more of an impact. To me, spring fragrances are a little bit more effervescent and light and bright and easy and fun and flirty, and you're ready to go out there and just experience nature in its beauty rather than being bundled up and cold. And I think that the transition from winter to spring is just a gorgeous time. It's when it's white to green, and I think that these fragrances really represent those feelings in fragrance form. Some of them are fruity, some of them are citrusy, some of them are warm, some of them are sweet, but at the same time they're all a beautiful transition, and they have the beauty of both seasons, specifically in fragrance form, what people are looking for with winter fragrances and spring fragrances. So I know I'm getting kind of wordy and these videos are long and I'm sorry, so I'm going to stop talking now. If you guys have any fragrances that you think make fantastic transitional fragrances from winter to spring, let me know below. Or if you're just starting to pick out your spring rotation, I would love to know what you guys are wearing, so just let me know. As always, if you guys like my fragrance videos, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this, specifically my fragrance videos. And also don't forget to subscribe. It's free, and I'm free, and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well, so I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever, and I'll see you next time. Bye!